All right, here we go. So it's time to maybe semi-retire my Roomba. It runs great. Nothing wrong with it. I completely cleaned it and overhauled it. So I might sell it or use it somewhere else. But I bought this back in 2013-ish. So it's probably 7 years old or close to 7 years old. Still works really, really well. Except for it bounces around randomly. If you have a red carpet, it doesn't know that it's carpet because of the infrared sensors. After doing some research, I wanted to get a Roomba or a robot vacuum that was a little smarter, higher capacity. So, something was on sale during Prime Day for $150 less than normal. So, I ended up buying a new robot. If anybody's thinking about getting a vacuum robot, I highly recommend it, especially if you have hardwood floors. Pets, although make sure before it decides to run. Sometimes Kelsey had an accident once in the Roomba, kind of smeared some of it around before I caught it, but luckily I caught it soon enough and was able to clean it up and clean the Roomba up. Nice thing about these vacuums is they're really easy to maintain. You can change all the parts. If something goes wrong, you can replace the parts. There's definitely a market for aftermarket repaired robots. The parts are usually pretty much available. So after my research, I really didn't want to spend $700 on a new Roomba that had all the features I wanted. And looking at a bunch of reviews, I actually found that the Shark is highly, highly recommended. Now, if you were to ask me, there are some things about the Roomba design that are unique that I think the Shark doesn't have. One of the main patents for Roomba, forgive that it's a little dirty, there's still some dog hair and stuff in here. Or look at that, it's like a sheet from laundry actually. Look at that. That happens, but it handles it okay. Anyway, see that there's two rollers. One is a rubberish roller, one is a brush roller. They kind of serve two different purposes, especially when trying to get up dust and particles, and then the brush more for like if it gets over carpets. Unfortunately, the brush also gets a lot of hair in it, so you got to clean them a lot. I believe like the Shark and other models don't have that two roller design. That's not something that these come with because it's part of the patent that the Roomba has. So I'm going to set this down. We'll try to do an unboxing. The box is kind of big, so I don't know how well this is going to work. Maybe I use this big box. These authentic videos here. So hard setting up a camera just to look down. How's that? It's not bad, it's a little tall. Do this. There we go. not that videos I ever do are popular. It's amazing to me that unboxing videos can be popular. We just talk about random stuff. Oh, look at that. It's a box inside of a box. Isn't that great? So, this is the self-emptying Shark, which is a bagless base that you can empty up after it fills up. You know, I usually empty my Roomba out every day after it runs, and it pretty much gets most of everything. But when it does get full, it does start to leave some stuff behind. This will self-empty itself and continue on. But you do, for these things, you do need to, you notice that there is, you do need to worry about the rollers and things getting full of debris and things like that. You got to check them regularly. You should replace them as often as you can. Generally, those parts are really inexpensive. Like, I get Roomba replacement parts. I'll get multiple replacement rollers and brushes and things like that for $15, $20, and it's not that expensive because there's a lot of knockoffs in the industry. The things that I like about this, it actually has directional navigation. It has a camera, and it will avoid objects. It will remember where it started and left off. I think it has a HEPA filter option as well. I can use Alexa with it. I can use my mobile app with it. You know, I don't know if I'll use those things or not. But I do like really the directional of it. I like the fact that it has this bagless dust, getting the dust off. And then there are options for different brushes and things that you can get if you want for some of these things, depending on what your thing is. I have a lot of hardwood floors, and I have very little carpets or thin carpets that don't really get a lot of dirt in them. In fact, my carpet is a washable carpet, so so this is what it is. So that's how it goes. You know, this technology is also used now. Everybody's seeing like lawnmowers are all coming out there using very similar technology. I'd love to have a lawnmower one, but I think my grade is too steep for them really to work effectively. The other thing I believe is this has two. My Roomba now only has one edge brush on one side, on one side of the robot. You can kind of see in the image here. There's an edge brush, but this one has two. And the Roomba will often be going along a wall somewhere, and it's edge brushing, but it's not brushing against the wall, you know, where it's trying to get in some crevices and stuff. So I like the fact that there's two here. All right, so let's see. Start guide, download the app, that kind of stuff, which I'll do later. QR code to scan. This is a docking pad for if you have a carpet to put your dock pad on. We will not have that scenario, so these robots also tend to run a little slower on carpet, depending on the thickness of the carpet. And you still want to vacuum your carpet every once in a while. You know, really, these robots are more of like, they do suction, they have it, they're a vacuum, but they're also like really expensive dusters and floor cleanup. So, you know, you still need to have a vacuum to do things to get into crevices in other areas you can't get to normally. But wow, you know, when I first got her, Kelsey. Hi, Kelsey. She left hair everywhere. I was literally Swiffering and sweeping every day, and it was just nuts. Sorry, my carpet's all goofed up. Every day, it was just constant. And when I finally got the robot, I rarely ever see any hair anywhere. But it also made me think about how I place things. Like, I try not to keep things on the floor anymore. I used to have a big red carpet underneath my dining table. You couldn't go over the red dining carpet because the infrared thing that checks for drop-offs, like steps, thought the red carpet meant there was a drop-off, so it would never go up on that carpet, or rarely. So I kind of got rid of the carpet underneath my dining table. And I started also buying furniture that I knew the Roomba could get under. So, my bed was already like that, but my couch, so my Roomba can get underneath furniture and get to where dust collects. Versus before I had to move my whole damn bed just to get to the dust. Now, every now and then there's still some hair that gets in places, but I can just take my vacuum and suck that stuff up. So, all right, so here we go. I'm surprised that it's nice and level light. Time to open them here. Round, as they always are. And alright. So here we go. Pretty much looks like my Roomba. This one actually has a power switch on it. I don't know how the program is going to go. It's pretty straightforward on my Roomba. But the design is it's identical. Same 2 wheels, same spinny wheel. There's some sensors here. I'm not sure what kind they are exactly. But you can see the roller here is a rubber and brush roller, but it's designed not to necessarily get tangled with hair and stuff. And then it uses more of just a brush on the bottom here to kind of scoop up other fine materials and then whip it in. But we'll see. I guarantee you that will be wrapped up with stuff, like any vacuum would. So this one has also a camera on the top. The camera's looking in a wide kind of 360, I'm not sure, but it sees a pretty wide angle and will detect if it's approaching something. My fear is with this one is like when it comes to my furniture, when it approaches a piece of furniture that it can go under, it's just going to stop and not go underneath there. So we'll see what happens with that. There's a little piece on top of there. And, okay. It's like so the one thing is for when I talked about the 2 brushes, sorry, that's what those are. These things here are for the brushes. What's different in this one is that it's a single brush that spins around on each side, versus the Roomba has only one brush on one side, not dual, but it's not a single brush sticking out. It has 3, which is kind of nice too. Be nice if this actually had 2 or 3. Based on the shape of it, I wonder if the Roomba one would fit on. Looks like it just snaps on, but yeah. So let's see how this all goes. Gotta uncover the sensors. It says peel here, power switch, and I'm peeling this off. I thought maybe it was supposed to cover the power switch, but it didn't. I'm not sure. That's the robot, basic, like the one I have. And it would have a charging station. The big difference here is the charging station that comes with this also is a vacuum So it's a vacuum charging station that can suck out the actual dust and debris right out of the Shark. Hopefully I have not been calling interchangeable Roomba and Shark, you know, like I feel like Roomba is going to become this synonymous with Kleenex or something, when really it's just a robotic vacuum. Or duster. Some people say it's not really a vacuum. And they're kind of right. It's not. So there it is. For best results, set up on a hard floor, which, yeah. In my case, I would do. Looks like plug cord in here. It says. Let's see if I'm missing anything. There's a filter on this as well for sucking in air. And there we go. Well. That's just to filter out between the actual fan that's sucking everything in. Pretty straightforward, I'd say. And it comes with a bot boundary. This is avoid obstacles and optimize robot performance with boundary strips. Well, this I didn't know about, so I don't know what this is. You can put this between a doorway, and I bet you there's a magnetic sensor or something in the robot that stops it. So if you really want to cut off rooms, my Roomba has a little stations you set up that shoot on a laser or infrared laser or something that will stop it from going, but they require batteries obviously and they die after a while. But honestly, you know, they're kind of a pain just leaving around. But again, do you want something laying on your floor that's going to get kicked around or whatever? I don't know, maybe. We'll see how it goes. There are some rooms I don't want it to go into, so my Roomba sometimes will go into my bathroom, which I don't mind, but if I'm not home and it finds its way in there, then it moves. It seems to move all the mats around in there, then it can get around and end up shutting the door, and then it gets itself stuck in that room. So, yeah, maybe. Who knows? All right, with that, I am going to stop and set it up, and then maybe I'll take some more video of it running. There it goes. So it has like 3 cameras on it, and right off the bat I noticed it's a lot quieter than my old Roomba, and this is probably because it's newer technology. The vacuum on the dock really seems loud and powerful, but we'll see. Right up and off. Obviously, I also noticed this thing's going right now. It's slowly mapping out my house, and it'll map it out and keep a memory of that. But it definitely, when it goes around obstacles, it immediately tries to stay straight. Look at that. Even over my carpet, it had a little problem there, but it just bounced right over the top of it. That's great. See how it's just trying to go straight, which is really wonderful. Now it's thinking what's going on. It's gonna do a little edge action, and then go straight again. Wow, so much different than my old Roomba. Newer Roombas also do this. They are smart like this, so like this so much better. And we'll see what it does. I mean, obviously I have some things here that are in the way still, but it should go underneath there, I hope, underneath my couch. It did go underneath another piece of furniture already, so just want to check that out. Should just pop underneath. Beautiful. It's going to come over here. It's going to run into my exercise mat probably. So really I should not have that mat there, so it can kind of map that out. See how that goes. I'm not going to move Kelsey's dog bed, but pretty neat. It'll have to vacuum a few times before it actually gets a good map. So there you have it.